Now Audi might be a little late to the party in India, but they've certainly come with their dancing shoes on. There's an epic battle between the German luxury triumvirate of Audi, BMW and Mercedes, and Audi certainly seems to be winning the war. Last year, they sold over 10,000 cars for the first time to take the lead in the Indian luxury car market. And they certainly intend to retain that lead. What we have here is Exhibit A, or Exhibit A3, I should say. Now Audi's really thrown a cat among the pigeons by launching the A3 at a base price of 22.95 lakhs. BMW and Mercedes both launched their entry hatches, the 1 Series and the A-Class, last year, but Audi was waiting for the sedan version of the A3 before hitting the Indian market. Now it's got the familiar Audi face, only it's a little bit edgier. But in this segment, it's important for the car to drive as well as it looks. And that's what we're here at the I really like this cabin. It's a little bit more cheerful than either the A-Class or the 1 Series. It is typical Audi fare, and which is to say that it's fantastic quality. It looks really good. Yes, it's sort of clean and sparse, and you could say it's a little bit Spartan, but actually I really like it. It's got these really funky air vents that look like turbines, and they sort of shoot air at you. It's very clean lines. It's got this really nice trim over here, and it's just typical Audi fare, which is to say it's a fantastic interior. But it's not the interior that we're concerned with at this moment. What we are concerned with is how well it responds to your inputs as a driver. How satisfying is it to take it for a blast around the BIC? And to that extent, both the A-Class and the 1 Series have been really fun to throw around this racetrack. The A-Class is probably one of the best front-wheel drive chassis that I've ever driven, and the 1 Series, being a rear-wheel drive car and with the balance of a BMW, is just great fun to drive. We're in the TDI, as I said, so we're in the diesel. It's the very familiar 2-liter turbocharged diesel from both the Volkswagen family. But what I really am starting to appreciate about this car is just how responsive it is on turn-in. So, next time we cross the line, we're going to start the clock and see just how well this car responds when you throw it around the BIC. Across the line, braking for the first corner. The brakes are really responsive. It turns in really well, and it's actually got a lot of grip. You can use some of the torque from the engine to pull out of the corners. The chassis feels really light and playful, very willing. Of course, the petrol engine is the 1.8 TSI, which is again another familiar power unit from the Volkswagen Group. And it would have been nice to have that engine in this car for the track, because it pumps out about 40 odd more horsepower. But I have to say, first impressions are very good. I have to admit, I really wasn't sure what to expect when we decided to bring this car to the track. Admittedly, it's not a car that's been built for the racetrack. Yes, it is a driver's car, and yes, you do expect it to respond fairly well on the road, but it's really not a track car, but it feels like it's very much at home around the BIC. The steering wheel does feel a little bit artificial. It weighs up quite a bit when you're going through the corners, but it's very direct, and it does exactly what you ask of it. Gearbox is very responsive, changing down. The brakes are also equally responsive when you get really hard on the brakes on the entry to a corner. It's very impressive. I just threw the car into that corner there, and you expect it to wash out, but it just doesn't. It tucks in and it just responds brilliantly. It gives you a lot of confidence, this car. I'm riding the curbs and using all the width of the track and more. The chassis is very stable and very willing on the entry to a corner. You get a little bit of push mid-corner if you're too liberal with the throttle pedal, but a little bit of correction and you're right back online. I can just keep my foot planted on the gas, safe in the knowledge that the car is just going to pull through the corner. It just needs a little bit of modulation on the throttle to adjust the line to make sure it doesn't understeer too much. The chassis feels really tight, really taut, really well sorted. Negatives? Well, really just the steering feel. I can't think of any other fault with the way this car is pounding around the racetrack. It doesn't feel front end heavy, it doesn't understeer too much. It feels really, really responsive. It feels really sharp. It's just giving me all the confidence that I need to attack each of these chicanes and these corners on this track. I mean, I'm feeling comfortable enough to pitch this car into a corner, rallycross style, and then run all four wheels off into the runoff on the exit because the car just instills so much confidence. It's strange because this car almost feels like it has quattro. It almost feels like an all-wheel drive car because it just pulls you through the corners. It's fantastic. The only two things I would ask of Audi for this car is better steering feel and paddles behind the steering wheel to change gears. Of course, now what we need is to get the S3 on track and give it this kind of treatment. The fundamentals of this car are all there. It ticks all the boxes. It's got a great chassis. It's very drivable. It's very chuckable. It looks good. And it's got a really nice cabin. So I really believe that Audi is going to have people lined up there outside their showrooms begging for this machine.